down. Doing well here. Much obliged. Explosion that set them off. Heads up. You hear that? Sound like a drill. 3 guesses who's behind it.
I'm told that the tunnels are sealed and Jane's forces are repulsed. That was fine work. Now she's trying to drill her way inside at the base of the deep well. You heard the noise in the tunnels, no doubt?
What kind of drill are we?
Goblin technology. Easy enough to procure if you have contacts in Stonebridge, and everyone does. We acquire our cannons.
Phineas and I have prepared a trap for Jane. It will require all our remaining stores of black powder.
We'll need to shut down the stone stream. Allow the combustible vapors to accumulate at the bottom of the well.
The stone stream? You mean the floating rocks in the middle of the deep well?
Not just the rocks, but yes, that's the most visible part. The stone stream is a system. It extends to every part of Glitterdove. Think of the mines as a vast living creature. Which they are. The stone stream is like a massive set of lungs, drawing clean air from outside and flushing out the explosive vapors in the mine.
You're saying that the mine...
Some parts of the mines, yes. It's especially bad in the deep well, with gases rising. You'll see giant fans all over the mines. They're part of the stone stream, circulating the air so that the vapors don't grow too thick.
And what if the vapors grow too thick? Has that ever happened?
In the early days of the mine, mostly. Only takes one spark to set them off. The Great Blast of 943. That was 350 years ago, but you still hear stories. Half the mines collapsed. Bad business.
So if the vapors collect at the bottom of the deep well, we can...
And consume Jane's army and fire. If any survive, they'll surely be crushed by falling rock, and their tunnel will be buried as well. I've taken some of the cannons that you saved from the swamp and set them at the bottom of the well. If Jane's forces break through the tunnel too soon, they'll provide a tactical advantage.
What do you think of our plan? Lord Devonsey is sure it will work, but I should like to hear the Legion's opinion too.
I prefer an honest fight, face to face.
You're right. This feels a little like cheating, doesn't it?
I could meet with Jane under a flag of truce. If she understood our resolve and the losses her people would face, perhaps she would withdraw.
Your Majesty, you have a gentle nature, but Jane Cassinda doesn't value the lives of her people as you do. She might even seize you, flag of truce or not. If Phineas can disable the stone stream, will you allow me to try my plan at least?
Only if the Legionnaires go with him. I won't send another friend to his death.
Are you worried about the creatures in the mines?
The dwarves had good reason to guard the stone stream. Especially the main hub. The sort... I've never gotten close to the hub. Only studied it from afar. But I'm sure it... I suppose I made that clear enough in the swamp.
So you'll be at the bottom of the well, setting the black...
Roderick and his men are already at work. They're bringing the last of the charges below.
Phineas will be safe with me, as long as he's...
Right. I've got to fetch a few books and scrolls. I'll meet you at the top of the well. platform for you. Step onto it. There you are. Let's hurry. I should be able to form a path to the center.
What a magnificent... I don't even know what to call it. Device? Apparatus? Floating stone thing?
There it is. I've never been this close. Sad that we must put it to rest. This will take a few moments, and all of my focus. Sentinels! They won't stop until I halt the stone stream. Keep them back!
Those sentinels don't look happy to see us. One more down.
It's like trying to hold back a river. I'm trying.
Be on guard. No way to kill these damn things. And no traps to lure them into. Damn, I'm bleeding.
It's beginning to stop. Just a little while longer.
Persistent devils, aren't they? Got to hold them back.
I have it! It's done. I need to rest a while. Go on, quickly. I'll be safe here.
Phineas did it, didn't he? The fans have stopped, which means that the well is going to be a dangerous place very soon. Unfortunately, it won't be soon enough. Jane's army broke through and her men are storming into the bedrock. Lord Devonsey and his soldiers are holding them off. Help them buy us some time to get our explosives ready. Then we'll send those bastards to Azanai.
Lord Devonsey needs your help. He's trying to delay Jane's...
The Royalists look like they could use our help. Let's say we charge right in.
Fight for Queen Roslin!
I'm glad you're safe. Look, down there. We held the high ground, but they're pushing us back. My soldiers need your help. You can take the floating platform. Thanks to you, we still have our cannons from the swamp. We'll use them to cover you until Rod... Do whatever you can to delay Jane's army. We need more time for the...
My Lady Jane Cassinder calls parley.
Lower your weapons. We've come here to talk. I would know who leads my enemy's army. Tell me, why is your face so like my handmaid's, and my own? Why does an Archon stand against her own kind?
You claim to be an Archon too?
My mother was an Archon, yes.
My lady, this woman was one of the Legionnaires in Raven's Rill. My life was spared by her word.
Mercy from the Legion? I find that hard to believe. Unless it was some kind of ploy. Violence has always been the Legion's way. Ever since Hugh Montbaron murdered the old king. Did you plan the same for little Queen Mouse?
What did we do to earn your hate? It couldn't have been the death of some distant king.
Some distant king? Yes. He must... the old king. The man your Legion sought to murder and displace. He was my father.
And your mother? She was an Archon?
Yes. One of the last of her kind. Granted shelter and solace by my father, the king.
If your father was the old king, then you and Roslin are family.
By blood, Roslin is my niece. But I will never call her kin. Her family stood by, content to watch, while I destroyed the Legion and avenged our father. Only then did they turn against me. They raised an army to put me in chains. A mistake, they'd tell you. If they were not all dead.
Roslin said nothing of this to me. Does she know that she's your niece?
Perhaps she doesn't know, if her family kept it from her. What better way to let a shameful secret die?
If the royal family turned against you, they must have had good reason.
Good reason? Only if you count jealousy and fear. People had begun to whisper that the king had been my father. They were rumors, nothing more. But they worried the rightful heirs. I had no designs upon the throne. Not then. But neither would I go quietly to the noose. They created the very monster they feared.
Roslin had no part in any of this, so why fight her?
Because Roslin is weak. She could never rebuild this nation alone. She'll be forced to rely upon others, like your Legion. And you will have power over her. But that is what you want, is it not? I have no need to make such bargains. I am strong enough to rebuild my father's kingdom on my own. And greater powers, not of this world, have shown their favor of me.
We've spoken enough about your father and his kin.
Now you know why I lay claim to this kingdom. I am well within my rights.
If it's true that your mother was an Archon, what brought her to Ebb?
She came to this world with her sisters, seeking the lost gods they once served. She could not have been much different from you, except that she understood who and what she was. And she had her sisters. She was not alone.
What if I take you at your word? Can we negotiate a truce?
What if there is some truth to what she says? Wouldn't hurt to ask Devonsey, if we get out of this alive.
They need not be killed, my lady. We could offer exile, or...
Not to the Legion. No. I have heard the voices of my mother's lost gods. On this day, they will grant me victory over you and the Pretender Queen. This parley is finished. Remain here, and you will be slain. Try to run, and I will hunt you down. We shall not speak again.
Do you hear that noise? Ah, didn't Phineas say something about a war beast?
The war beast lay dead, its fall testament to the might of the 10th Legion. But it seemed a Pyrrhic victory as the Azunite army pushed into the deep well. Hundreds of soldiers poured from the tunnels, easily outnumbering the Royalist forces. You and your allies fled before them, but this was not the defeat it might have seemed. Without the stone stream to refresh it, the air in the deep well was a seething cauldron of explosive gas, awaiting the merest spark. That spark the Royalists were all too happy to provide. The explosion collapsed the well, entombing the Azunites beneath the mountain, and shattering Jane Cassinder's hopes of destroying the Queen. Would that Cassinder herself had been buried there, along with her men. But such an end was not her fate.
Jane's army is fleeing down the mountain. The woman lives, but we're safe from her. For now.
The victory is yours. We owe the Legion our lives.
I'm told that Jane spoke to you. She mentioned the old king, no doubt. And the Legion's role in his murder.
I need to know what really happened. All the facts, no matter...
We ought to begin more conversations this way.
Jane Cassinder spoke the truth, as far as she understands it. The commanders of the Legion did conspire to unseat the old king. The goal was never to murder the old king, only to replace him with his eldest son. But the king resisted, and the matter went awry.
You must understand. My grandfather was a monster. Even his own children despised him.
You say the king was a monster.
I do not pretend to understand the man, but by all accounts, he was prone to paranoia, irrational rages. He grew jealous of the Legion. Before long, he started seizing our chapter houses and estates, threatening to disband the Legion altogether. So Mont Baron struck first.
If they didn't mean to harm the king, then...
I wasn't there when it happened, but I'm told that the king drew a sword. The man wasn't much of a fighter, more a danger to himself than the Legionnaires. Who knows how he ended up with a blade in his gut? All the parties are long dead, and we shall never learn the truth.
We have a friend, an old Legion scout called Odo. Would he have known about the plot?
No. Mont Baron told the rank and file nothing, so that they wouldn't share in his guilt. Little good it did them. They all died, innocent or not.
You were one of the Legion commanders. Weren't you part of the plot?
When the plan was put forward by Mont Baron, I spoke against it. We had all made a vow to defend the crown, and it seemed to me that our word should be kept. But all the others disagreed. So I abandoned the Legion. Left the hall out the door. The king was in the wrong, yes. But was treason our only recourse? I thought not.
You were the only one who abandoned...
A good friend followed me into exile. His name was We served the royal family as generals during the war with Jane. Garin died at the Battle of Drifter's Cross. Phineas is his son.
Phineas has Legion blood? I'd never have guessed. Seems a bit... cerebral, doesn't he?
Jane told me something else. She said that she was the king...
Ah, the old rumors. I can't say for sure.
Jane Cassinder shares my blood? What else have you not told me, Lord Devon? The woman lost her father. Her family betrayed her. That doesn't excuse... I would ask one more favor of the Legion. Should you meet her again, will you spare Jane Cassinder's life?
Your Majesty, she's been hunting you and your family for years. Why...
This mountain once bustled with dwarves, and now they're gone. Dead to my parents, my maids and courtiers. All of Lord...
Your Majesty, think of...
If Jane Cassinda dies, do you think the cities of the East will bow their heads? No. They will curse us for murdering their living saint, and the war will drag on.
Whereas if we come to an agreement and Jane is kept alive...
You assume that the woman will surrender at all. I wouldn't make such a wager.
If she's willing to surrender, I'll let Jane live.
Lord Devonsey will surely chastise me for my gentle nature, but I am sure this is the right course. Whatever happens, the Legion has...
I shall send riders to all the towns and villages that support the Queen with news of our alliance. You have the word of the Royal Court. All Western Ebb will stand united by...
My family